Weapons systems have almost always relied on kinetic energy to destroy their targets. From arrows and bullets to electromagnetic railguns that have a muzzle velocity of 9,800 feet per second, military engineers have been designing their weapons to throw one object at very high speeds in order to destroy other objects. However, new and disruptive battlefield technologies like inexpensive drones and hypersonic missiles have shifted the balance and cost-effectiveness of traditional missile defense systems. And this has forced military engineers to investigate an existing yet misunderstood weapon, lasers across air, sea, and land. This futuristic weapon is being developed, tested, and even used operationally. Lasers are being weaponized everywhere, from replacing Israel's TMEXSEA Iron Dome system to protecting commercial cargo planes. But why early laser weapon systems failed and what helped them make a comeback? How this technology could save the military over 100,000 every single time it fires on a target, and how why lasers not only can drop drones out of the sky, but they can also keep them flying with the help of fish, is not what you think. One of the primary lessons learned from the war in Ukraine is the rising importance of unmanned, weaponized systems. Drones have completely changed the dynamics of war in the air, on land and at sea. They also cost very little. DJI Mavic, the drone that has reshaped the war in Ukraine, costs around $2,000 a piece, and by attaching explosives to them, these drones have become an inexpensive way to destroy multi-million-dollar tanks. There are, of course, existing ways to counter these pesky drones. Classic anti-air defense systems rely on precision missile strikes. But launching these weapons can be very expensive. For example, the cheapest of these systems is known as manpads. They only need one person to launch and usually use Stinger missiles. However, one Stinger missiles costs an average of 100 not to mention the larger systems in areas where Stingers are not available, like the Patriot missile, which costs on average a staggering $3 million per unit. So how can militaries fix this price asymmetry to avoid spending $3 million to take down a $2,000 drone? Engineers have spent the past years inventing solutions to this problem, like anti-drone nets. Part ways Jack's father then invites him to dinner. But Jack gets mad and storms out. Maria comes to convince him. But Jack had a plan to spend the night with her because he is leaving for America. Soon Maria promises to spend the next night with him. She also asked him to sort things out with his father. Jack agrees with her and goes to see his father late at night. Jack accuses his father for not giving him enough time and of not loving his mother. His father tells him that he loves him very much and that his marriage was specifically for Jack. Jack realizes his dad and spends the night with his father. Then Jack falls asleep there the next day. When Maria gets to work, Jack greets her and tells her that he would like to spend every moment of the day with her. They then go to the park, and then Maria takes Jack to her house for a kiss and a cuddle. Jack then tells Maria that he feels this is like a dream, with which he's going to clap someone for the first time. They have fun together. But Maria breaks down in the middle of clapping because she misses her son. Then Maria admits to Jack that she didn't tell him the truth about her son. She tells him that she looked for her child, but she came to know that her son was killed in a road accident. Upon hearing that Jack caresses her, he expresses his sympathy for her, and both of them again commit to embracing each other. Maria continues by saying that she hasn't felt this much happy in a while, and that she usually ended relationships with her ex-boyfriends who spoke about getting married because she feared of starting having a child again. After that, Jack tells her she can't go on like this and that. Her tragedy will make her a better mother. Then they rekindle their hug. Then Jack visits his father at home and has a nice conversation with him. The following day, before leaving, Jack kisses Maria goodbye in their home. Then Jack leaves for America. Maria also visits her mother and tells her she is expecting a child in the movie's final scene. We see a joyful Maria carrying Jack's child. So this is the end of the movie. The Mate released in 2014. Thanks for watching. News. Unfortunately, the editor once again wants to give the story to another reporter. So George snaps and demands an explanation. It turns out the lord that owns the newspaper has blacklisted George, because his name now equals a lack of traditional values. Furious, George decides to quit afterward. He goes to see his wife to beg her to sign the divorce papers, pointing out they were never happy together. But the woman refuses, saying she won't allow anyone to have George's revenge for the shame he brought to her back in the forest. Now lots of people have arrived to help dig out the sphere. When Ogilvy touches it with his trowel, the ground suddenly shakes and the meteor begins to expand. Its top layer slowly cracking open. At that moment, the royal astronomer Stent arrives with his own team and a bunch of policemen to take charge of the site. Soon a whole curious crowd gathers around the excavation, and George arrives looking for Amy. The sphere suddenly begins grumbling, and Opalvi notices a clockwork ticking sound coming from it. The cracks on the sphere surface finish breaking and the brown cocoon comes off, exposing a slick black surface beneath. Stent comes closer to touching the object, which leaves a layer of thick black oil on his hand. His reflection is still there when he moves back, only for it to go away when the sphere begins spinning and raises high in the air.